What's up, you guys? Hey, thanks for watching this video. In this video, I want to talk about how to get the best letter of recommendation for either college, med school, residency, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. It's all kind of the same. I wanted to talk about this because I was just in a meeting right now, and I look like kind of an idiot because I didn't take this advice that I know to be true already. So I was in this meeting, and we're talking about some we're new business activity and things like that, and this meeting I had been waiting for a while, but I didn't really pay that much attention to what it was gonna be. It was actually just breakfast. We were just kind of hanging out, like a few of us that I had, a few of the guys in this business that I haven't seen for a while. And it was more of a, let's just get together, blah, blah, blah. Well, then I show up just to hang out, and one of the other guys brings his fucking computer. And sure as shit, the motherfucker has a PowerPoint. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so he starts talking about all this stuff, that how to improve the business. And we're like good friends, and he doesn't tell me any of this shit. And, basically he is being proactive and brought some value to this meeting instead of just showing up and having an awesome personality, which I brought, but that's not always enough. So I'm sitting there listening to him, pissed off at him, but at the same time kind of pissed off at myself and thinking, I should have prepared more. It was just a good reminder that you always need to bring value to whatever it is that you're doing, especially if you want to get ahead. If I don't care about this business and I don't want to get ahead, I can sit there and not say anything. But if I want to increase my value in this situation, then I have to bring some value without being told. This is the crux of the video, is that you can't wait for people to say, if you're a college student, if you're a medical student, if you're a high school student, you can't wait for your proctor or whoever, or your professor to say, you need to do X, or this paper is due, blah, 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 whatever. You just have to go out and get it without somebody telling you. I've kind of talked about this concept before. I talk about this book called A Message to Garcia. And in that situation, it's a little bit different. I talk about just going out and doing, learning stuff yourself. But this is a little bit different because if you want a good letter of recommendation, what you have to do is you have to be proactive, and you have to be people always talk about a self-starter. And it's really important in business, and, healthcare is business, because you're with a team, and when you have a team of people, the other people on your team, imagine if you're the boss and you have to go and you have 100 people on your team. What if you have to go and tell each person what to do every day? That's a pain in the ass. You just want that person to go ahead and read your mind and then do what you need to have happen, and then come back and be like, here's the results, it's all done. And so the boss doesn't have to do anything. And so that's the same thing with letters of recommendation. Is so if you're in college and you have a professor that's like, oh, you want a letter recommendation for med school or something like that, or you're in med school and you want a letter recommendation for residency, you can't really just sit there and wait for the person to say, oh yeah, these are the things that you should do, or hey, by the way, I have this thing on Friday night at 5:00. Do you want to come to it? You need to go out and say, Professor so-and-so or Dr. blah, 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 do you have any cases this week that I can observe? Do you have any research that I can help you with? So if you go and are proactive with that stuff, then they will say, yeah, I have a case on Friday. And by the way, these people are really busy. And I get emails all the time, and people want to work with me or do whatever. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But it's not because I don't want to. It's because that email goes here, and then I get 40 other emails, and that thing goes down here, and I forget about it. If you ask them one time, then you're like, oh, well, he didn't, come back and say, I have this case on Friday night at 5 o'clock that you should join me with, that's not because he doesn't want you there. It's because he probably just forgot that he has, 40 students or whatever. And so on Monday you ask him, on Tuesday you ask him, on Wednesday you ask him, on Thursday he's like, this guy's a go-getter, this girl is a go-getter. Yeah, you know what? Why don't you just show up on so-and-so? I might forget. So there's a thing in business that in sales that people talk about. People don't generally buy anything unless they've seen it 6 to 7 times. And like, if you go to buy a bicycle, you don't just walk into the store and say, oh, this is the only bicycle you have. Okay, great, I'll take it. You do a lot of research. And the same thing is with these people for letters of recommendation. Number one, they need to see you several times. You can't just like have, one encounter and be like, oh, that was boy, I did an operation with this guy, go ask him. Second, in order to get kind of integrated into this person's research or their clinical practice or whatever it is, you're probably going to have to torture them, and you're probably going to have to do it multiple times. I think this is a big comment that I get is that students come to me and say, I don't want to bother you, but you're bothering me, but it's okay. And so if there is a surgeon or a doctor or a professor and you're a student coming to bother them, you're not, because that's why, that's one of the reasons they're in that position. They're a professor or they're a teaching doctor, and so they like helping students, and so you're not really bothering them. You're bothering them if you don't give a shit and you never ask any questions and you stand there and don't look interested. That would be bothering me more than people asking me several times. And actually, I've had a few people that do observerships with me, and it just turns out that because I'm busy, they end up having to email me several times. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit, okay, yeah, well, I forgot, like so-and-so. And they have to keep the ball rolling. And if they don't, like, those people just drop off. I never see them again. That all is applicable to getting a letter of recommendation. If you really want one from somebody, you have to go after it. You have to make contact with them 6 to 7 times probably before you end up doing research with them or a surgery or something like that. Well, depending on what kind of rotation you're doing. So if you want to do anything outside the normal, you may have to go and touch them as in have contact with them, have a conversation with them, have an email, have a text message, whatever. It may be 6 to 7 to 10 times before you're actually able to hook up, and that's okay. I just came out of that meeting. I've been thinking about that for a little while. I think a lot of students I get say that they don't want to intrude or bother somebody, but it's just the opposite. Like, you have to do that if you're going to get kind of ahead. All right. Okay, you guys, I hope you guys like this video. If you do like these videos, you should check out my study course. Go to secretstudyhacks.com. I talk about things like this. I had a really tough time in school. I got a 1.7 GPA my second semester, and I learned a lot. I learned how to study after that. I figured I wasn't stupid. You're not stupid. If you think you're stupid, you're just studying wrong, and I'll teach you how to study correctly. And then we have an awesome community of students and doctors and residents and everybody to help you along the way with your medical journey. So check it out, secretstudyhacks.com. If not, no biggie. I will see you in the next video. Take care.